Hello and welcome to Reviews with Ryan. Today on the channel I'm going to talk about the brand new thriller film called All the Old Knives. This film is in limited theaters and also on Amazon Prime, and it's directed by Janis Metz. He's done some TV series, some documentaries, and some short films. And real quick, if you are new to the channel, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and comment below your thoughts on this video, and also turn on the notification bells so you never miss any videos that I make as I do movie reviews and Blu-ray hauls and even unboxings on this channel. Thank you guys for checking out this review, and now without further ado, let's get into my thoughts. Two CIA operatives and former lovers reunite to re-examine a mission 6 years ago where a fellow agent might have been compromised. The film stars Chris Pine, Thandie Newton, Laurence Fishburne, and Jonathan Pryce. So I honestly had no idea that this film was coming out this week. I saw that my local theater was getting this film and saw that it was going to be on Amazon Prime and also in theaters, and I wanted to check it out as I did watch a couple reviews, and everybody that I watched, they gave it favorable reviews. So going into this film, Chris Pine was in this film, and seeing The Contractor, I thought that that film was okay. So I thought, why not? Let's check it out. I never watched a trailer, so I went into this film pretty blind and just going by some reviews that I saw. The film begins in 2012, and you have this terrorist group. They're hijacking this plane, and they have all these different demands, and you have the CIA. They are basically investigating this and trying to meet those demands. And then meanwhile, the movie flash forwards to the present in 2020, and you have Chris Pine and Laurence Fishburne. They basically are reopening this case, and they're trying to figure out who basically gave up all this information for these terrorists to hijack this plane. And you have Chris Pine, who is investigating this, and there are some different suspects that he has involved in this. But for the most part for this movie, I will say, compared to Chris Pine's last movie where there was a lot more action than this film really doesn't deliver on the action. I really think that this film really focuses a lot more so on Chris Pine and his lover in this, which is Thandie Newton. He has a thing with her and they have a little fling. The film flashes back to present and then goes to the past as well. So you have a lot of going back and forth between 8 years ago, and then you have different investigations going on with Chris Pine with a few different characters. For the most part, there's not a lot of characters involved in this, so you don't really have a lot of confusing moments, or even though that the fact that this film is flashing back, forward, and backwards, it doesn't feel like it's too disorganized. I think the biggest problem with this film is, even though the subject material is these terrorists hijacking this plane, it doesn't really focus a lot on that. It really focuses on the aspect of Chris Pine and Thandie Newton's relationship, and this whole relationship that they had throughout the film, as they have this whole sexual relationship throughout the film, and we get lots of that throughout this film. It really doesn't focus on anything else. I felt that the hijacking, it just kind of shows like brief clips of it, and obviously it shows the results of what happens and stuff, but it just doesn't really do a whole lot in that action department. The film feels really slow, and at times I wanted a little bit of action to kind of move along the story, as most of the time you have Thandie Newton and Chris Pine just kind of recounting their days of their fling and just recounting a little bit of the events of the hijacking and what went on. And then when it is revealed as to what happens, it is pretty interesting as to what happened and why these motivations for the characters that are involved in this, why it plays out the way it does. It's interesting in that fact, but to get there, it's a little bit slow and there isn't any action, so it feels a little boring to me. And really the other characters that are involved in this story, there really isn't a lot for them to do screen-wise because they just don't really have much of a prominent role. Obviously, towards the end, you see why they're involved in this whole plot that's going on, but really there isn't really a big role for them, and there really isn't any outstanding performances in this. As far as a score on this, there really isn't anything too much to write home about. There's a little bit of relaxing, soft music in the beginning, but there really isn't anything to really hype up the thriller aspect that this film is trying to go through. I really didn't really feel that this was much of a thriller film. When I think of a thriller film, I think that there is a little bit of action, and I really felt that this was more a drama piece focusing on two characters for the majority of the film. And because of this drama between these two characters, it really unfolds to involving the thriller part of the story. Overall, for me on this film, it doesn't deliver the action. It has a nice wrap up and it has some meaning to it. You're going to get a little bit of relationship with Chris Pine and Thandaway Newton. But other than that, I didn't really feel that this film really delivered enough in the thriller department for me. If you're looking for a decent drama film between two characters, then you probably will like this. I really can't recommend this film to everybody because it is a slower burn kind of film. And I don't really feel like I really would revisit this film, as it really doesn't do much for me to really want to watch it for rewatchability or feel much so inclined to really want to revisit the story again. I'm gonna give a score of this film a 2 out of 5. It's not completely terrible, but it's just not a film where I feel that it does enough to really capture the thrilling aspect, and it just focuses, I think, too much on the drama aspect and too much of this love story between the two main characters. And unfortunately, because it does that, I really have a hard time recommending this film for everybody. So if you are interested in watching this film, I would suggest watching it on Amazon Prime. It's nothing you have to rush out to the theater for, and maybe if you have a rainy day, you pop this on, or nothing else to watch completely when there is a dead month, maybe you would watch this film. But other than that, these are my thoughts on this film. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this film. Do you feel kind of the same thoughts, that this feels more of a drama than a thriller film? Did you feel like it needed more action, or were you okay with the fact that there wasn't a lot of action? Thank you guys for watching this review, and I'll see you guys on my next one.